Welcome to the Bettendorf Public Library's Take-Home Workshop. This month, we're doing these woven cards. I love crafts. My favorite crafts are the ones that are, first of all, very customizable for different tastes, different aesthetics, different occasions. And secondly, I love crafts where things are being upcycled or recycled, and this fits the bill for both of those. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This card that you have in your kit was cut. The maple leaf shape was cut using the library's Cricut or Silhouette. Those are computerized cutting machines. You can cut whatever shapes you want. You could do stars, you can do flowers, you could do any shape you want. And then these are filled in with scraps of things that I had left around. So this one, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's a glittery, kind of a shiny sort of holiday ribbon, and I had leftovers from something that I had done. And then this one is leftover scrapbooking paper. So if you're a crafter at all, you probably have leftover papers or ribbon or yarn or fabric, and any of those things can be used to weave a card like this. If you don't own a Cricut or a Silhouette or don't know how to use one, you can call the library or go to our website and set up a skill building session where you will have time one-on-one with a staff member to learn how to use these machines to do your own designs. So let's get started on learning this one. In your kit, you will have a card that has already been cut. So we did all these, we bought the cards in bulk and then we cut all the shapes ourselves with an envelope that goes with it. You will have a couple pieces of art paper, just scrapbooking in nice fall colors, and you will have a glue stick. And all we're asking you to provide is a pair of scissors. That's all we need. Let's get started. Basically, we are going to be weaving this section and then we just glue it in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my strips of my pieces of paper and I'm going to cut them into strips. You have options for how this is done. If you have a cutter and like really straight, precise cuts, you can do it that way. I'm just going to do it with my scissors. And if you want them all to be the same size, you can, but I like to vary it a little bit. I think it gives it a little bit more interest. So I'm cutting strips that are different widths. And I'm also trying to keep them in line. When I go to weave these together, since I'm cutting by hand, my cuts are not perfectly straight. These will be a tighter weave if I can put them into the woven piece in the same order in which I cut them. So I'm going to try and keep these in the same order. And then when that's done, I'm just going to move these off to the side. Again, in that same order, so that if you're putting them together like a jigsaw puzzle, it's going to look exactly as it did before you started cutting. Then I'm going to take my other piece and I'm going to do the exact same thing, where I'm just cutting different strips in different sizes. Go. And then I'm going to start weaving. I'm going to take my first strip, I'm going to take my glue stick, put a little dot at the top there, and take the contrasting paper and just glue them together. So I'm just gluing together in the corner there. That's going to be my base that I'm going to build this off of. Then I'm going to take my next orange strip and I'm going to glue it on top of the contrasting strip, the side to side strip. And I'm trying to line these up. It moved a little bit. I'm trying to line these up so that when I get all of my, in my case, orangey strips here, it's going to look like the full sheet. It won't be perfect, you'll be able to see the cuts, but I'd like them to be as close to each other as possible because again, it makes for a tighter weave on your finished project. My first row is woven through, over, under, over, under. Now I'm going to take my second piece and I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm alternating it. So I'm going to start with it being under, and I'm going to, again, put a little dot of glue there and slide that up so it's nice and snug. And I'm just going to glue this first one to start with, and then I'm going to go through and weave, and then I'll go back and glue the end of it. So for every strip that I went over before, now I'm going under, and vice versa. And then a little bit of glue on the end. And I'm going to snug mine up as tight up against the strip above it as I can so that I don't have bits showing through. I want a nice tight weave on mine. And I'm going to pick the next one and do the same thing. And I'm just going to continue that way all the way down. Now, one thing as you're doing this, you want to make sure that your finished weaving is large enough to cover this hole. So it's about 3 inches wide and it's close to 4 inches high. So just make sure. I cut it really close, but it's going to work. When you get down to the bottom row, you're going to want to go through and glue those strips down, both sides. And there you have your woven paper. Pretty straightforward, right? Now we're just going to take and we're just going to glue it inside here. Now mine's pretty wide. It covers me top to bottom, side to side. So just to make it a little tidier, I'm just going to trim off the edge here. Make it kind of a little straighter. It's just a little tidier, but you certainly don't have to do that. And now I'm going to glue right around our leaf shape. And it's one of the things I love about these purple glue sticks is that you can see exactly where you went. And then I'm also going to do the edges of my weaving. And you're going to want to be a little careful here because if you go too hard, if the glue in your weaving is not dry, you could pull your weaving apart. But I think we're okay there. Covered top to bottom. And just glue that into place. Very simple. Now you'll see, as you can see, I've got went a little gun ho with some of my glue up top there. So I'm just going to kind of wipe that off and it'll dry and it'll be fine because this blue stuff or this purple stuff does dry clear. And then your card is already scored, so you can just fold it over. And there you have it. Now, one thing to think about is if you get enthusiastic with your glue and it's running out behind the edges of if there's more around the edges of your weaving than what I had here, you might not want to fold your card yet. Wait till that glue is good and dry if you want. But there you have it. And I really encourage you to try this out and try it with different things in your shape. And it could even be, it doesn't even have to be a fancy shape. It's just like a square or a circle, like a window. It would be really cool if you have, vellum in different colors or just anything like that. It's going to be neat. I feel like no matter what you do. So please show us what you've done. Share it with us on social media. And we'd like to thank the Bettendorf Public Library Foundation for sponsoring this take-home workshop.